Hello everyone, I'm Chester44 and welcome to this Let's Play of Tyranny. Last episode we made our way into the inner keep of Sentinel Stand, or made our way through it. We found the Regent himself and he was not willing to cooperate, unsurprisingly. Now, let's actually go in and deal with him. Probably going to need to fight our way through, but I think our allies are in there as well. Oh yeah, they've fought their way in. They're already there. Scavenger leather boots. Demetrius. I've been waiting a long time to finish what we started, Regent. You've sat with your cowardice and shame long enough, haven't you? He draws his weapon. If you beg me for death, I'll make it painless. If you want to see me on my knees, you'll have to prop up my corpse for the delight of your inbred cohorts. But don't speak to me of cowardice and bravery. The disfavored needed Kairos' arcana to prevail in the end. I'm sure that an army of lice-bitten rats could have succeeded with those odds on their side. Like rats, our little scurriers are fun to watch cubs play with, to rip, shred, and gnaw to bits. Did you have to bring that thing with you? Demetrius shakes his head and focuses back on the Regent. You took a legion hostage and didn't have the nerve to meet us on the field of battle. Coward! Demetrius advances a step. I will earn Ash's favor when I bring him your head, and no one in Stalwart will weep for your demise. Something in the Regent's demeanor shifts as he catches your eye. So, the Fatebinder joins the fray. You must not like your odds if you brought so much backup. Your timing is impeccable, Fatebinder. He gestures to Harridan. Let's put down this sick dog together. I don't believe we've been introduced. Commander Demetrius, at your service. Ash sent me to help you tidy up. What say we stack up the benches and lock the door on this campaign once and for all? He gives you an encouraging smile. Was the plan to end the edict that you two palaver until I die of old age? Stratus tightens his grip on his weapon. Surrender Amelia and we'll show mercy to your soldiers. But no mercy to you, Regent! Barrack clenches his fists and readies to attack. I'm finished compromising with you Imperial dogs. If you want the keep so badly, come and take it from me. I have more than a few years under my belt, but I've spent most of them training for this day. We must have really closed you into a corner, Regent. I've never seen you bare your fangs like this. Demetrius advances with his weapon drawn. Good! I needed a challenge today. Let's get in there. Get the ranged guys as quickly as you can. You, cast that here. Okay, you can't get to that one, so over here.
I need to try it.
You! Actually, you can go a bit closer and then cast it. Get 4 of them. Now that was beautiful. And now, we can also do this like that. That had to help a lot. I do like that thing. That is a fun spell. There goes 1. There goes 2.
Stalwart prevails.
Looks like Demetrius actually passed.
Try a different weapon. I need to try a different weapon.
No, he's still there. I didn't see him.
Time to change weapons.
Can you? You can. Excellent. Cast it. Almost got that one dead.
Useless weapon.
Surrendered? Ah, that was Stratus who surrendered. Good.
That's how it's done.
One more to deal with.
This is useless. I should try something else.
Oh, Lantry leveled up. Again. He is so high in level.
Swipe this.
Finish him.
Pay attention, kids. You might learn something.
This is useless. I should try something else.
Come on, finish him. There we go. The Regent lies on the ground, bloodied and defeated. He extends his good arm and drops his weapon. If only I had the breath to spend defying you, but I fear the fight has left me. Wait a moment to witness the last of the stalwart defenders shattering under the disfavored boot. Demetrius beams with pride and rears back to kick Harridan in the head, but stops himself. I'll give you the honors. Let's kill this wretch and put an end to the edict at last. One of Stratus' soldiers moves between you and Harridan, tearing off her helmet. I won't let you do this! Amelia! Is that you? Demetrius' weapon nearly falls from his hand as he salutes. I hardly recognize you. Why are you fighting with the Regent's personal guard? Graven Ash protects. She aims you a withering look. Those are words I don't hear often anymore. If you come in my father's service, then prepare to be disappointed. I'm not the Northern warlord I once was. She winces at the very thought. Sitting out the conflict made me see this conquest from a different perspective. She looks at you with a plea in her eyes. We were wrong. Kairos led us from the right path centuries ago. We marched south to finish the Overlord's work, but... She squeezes her eyes shut. Don't you see that the tears are the last chance for us to make this right? Amelia. The Regent's voice softens. You don't have to say anything further. You were a prisoner. What happened? This is no time for a story. Not while we have our blades pointed at each other. If any of us survives this, which I suspect isn't likely, I'll tell you everything. But right now, you need to stand down and back away from the Regent. Why are you fighting for Stalwart? Because Stalwart has a fighting chance at winning back their independence. Because we invaded this realm on the mad whims of a tyrant. Because of many reasons. The Regent is beaten. The keep is ours. Will you cooperate? Never. I know what atrocities you and the rest of Tunan's ilk are capable of visiting upon us. I know what my father does to traitors and deserters. My father... Her voice catches, and it takes a moment to find her words. I love my father, but it's nothing compared to the love I felt for the father of... Amelia! Please, be silent! Stratus looks to her with desperation. It's over. You understand? I'm dying. Save your strength for more important things. The father of... Oh no. Did she have a child with Stratus? Killing him won't end this. He turns to you with a resolved expression. And you know he's almost lost too much blood to maintain it. I am the last of the Regents. If you mean to end the Edict of Storms, then I accept my fate. One last chance, Regent. Will you end the Edict yourself? End myself to end the Edict? No, Fatebinder. That is not our way. You may call it uncompromising of me, but my station and my dignity demand nothing less. If you desire the end of the Edict so badly, you will have to shoulder this burden. For Ash and the disfavored, I vow to give you a clean death. To be sure, it's more than he deserves. Strike him down, Fatebinder. Before you can take action, you catch Amelia begin to raise her weapon from the corner of your eye. Amelia, stop! Stratus winces, hardly possessing the energy to argue. You have to keep your promise. Remember? The focused, determined air about Amelia falls to resignation. She delivers a curt nod and leaves the room, darting you a killing look on her way out. Amelia disappears into another room, unwilling to watch what you're about to unfold. Kill the Regent, Fatebinder. Let's put this shameful chapter of the conquest behind us, along with the Edict of Storms. He spares a final look at Stratus Harridan. You should be proud, Regent. In death, you'll accomplish more than you ever did in life. You'll excuse me if I disagree, you northern pig. Stratus looks up at you with hope and pain in his eyes. And so falls the last enemy of Stalwart. Goodbye, Regent. You take up a fallen sword from the floor and drive it through Stratus Herodin's heart, killing him instantly. Stratus's body falls to the ground, and you watch the blood pool onto the floor in silence. There is a feeling of anticipation in the air, but as the seconds pass, it never materializes into anything. The surge of arcane energy and sense of relief you experienced in Ascension Hall is missing. You hear the howl of the storm outside and realize that the edict endures. Demetrius furrows his brow in confusion. The last of the Regents is dead, and yet Kairos' storm continues. What could we have possibly missed? From across the hall you hear a faint cry. A baby's cry. And realization dawns on you. I knew it. Faithful promise. It's actually very good. I think I'll probably use it. But this is about to get very, very dark. I'm fairly certain of that. These gauntlets are very fantastic. Take them. And put on this shield. Oh boy. This is not... Oh dear. Blocking the doorway, Amelia regards you with eyes that brim with tears, yet blaze with hints of her father's grim resolve. She has armored herself in disfavored raiment to face you down. Stay away from my daughter! You will not have her! Oh no. Oh, by the Archon's mercy, don't let this be so. Barrack covers his face and howls softly. Your daughter is the Regent heir. Now that you've killed Stratus Herodin, she is. Amelia draws herself up and glares at you. She has nothing to do with Kairos or the edict. You have no right to judge her on the basis of blood. How is this possible? My union with Stratus the Younger. Even in remembrance, Amelia doesn't shed her warlike resolve. He showed me kindness behind these walls, and taught me about Stalwart and the Tears, the culture and heritage that made these people the pride of the realm. He died in the 3rd year of the conquest. A disfavored spear pinned him to the ground he fought to defend, and he never rose again. Did you know this would prolong the edict? We suspected that the bloodline would implicate my baby in Kairos' eyes, but I knew nothing for certain until this moment. Don't ask me to interpret the Overlord's heartless design. I have no love for this edict, if that's what you're asking. It's torn a noble realm to pieces, fractured the pillar of their culture, and ruined countless lives. But I have a responsibility to the people of Stalwart to preserve their heritage and leadership. My father and the other Archons destroyed this nation. She and I... Amelia glances back at the crib, then quickly focuses back on you. We can help put it together. What a naive notion. I had thought better of you, but this shows nothing but contempt for all that the disfavored accomplished and sacrificed in the conquest. Demetrius shakes his head with disapproval. The Regent remained in Sentinel stand for her protection. The edict was his responsibility to shoulder, not hers. She tips her head down in challenge. My daughter will not be another victim of Kairos' conquest. She has the blood of the North coursing through her veins, and no one has the right to take her life. Calm yourself, Amelia. There must be another way. Another way? Demetrius shakes his head in sadness. Amelia turned her back on the Legion. The General has no place for the disloyal, no matter whose blood flows in their veins. All the same, if you can guarantee my daughter's life, I will return to Ash and submit to his judgment, harsh as it will be. But that still leaves us with the matter of the edict. What could we possibly do about the Edict of Storms? Regent blood flows through my daughter's veins. Abdicate your line. As Regent Mother, you have the authority. You must merely say the words. Oh, quite right! Lantry licks the tip of his quill as he flips his parchment. And since the Regent Mother isn't of Stalwart and can't actually sit as Regent, that should, I hope, terminate the line. I ought not to show preference for how this part of the Chronicle unfolds, but I'd rather title this chapter Legal Remedy than Infant Regicide if given the choice. Hope reflects her in her expression for the first time. Is it truly as simple as that? A clerical formality to spare an innocent life. She huffs as much in surprise as derision. If this works, I'll owe you more than I can possibly repay. Here. The edict damaged this trinket, but you might still find it useful. I, Amelia, formally abdicate my daughter's claim to the regency of Stalwart, dissolving all ties, compacts, vassals, and holdings. We forfeit all protections and advantages given by the ancient bloodline. Was that enough? I think we're about to find out. Be warned. If this doesn't help you, nothing can. You feel a familiar sensation, the air growing hot and electric before suddenly erupting in overwhelming waves of energy. At first you think the force of arcane power dissipating is enough to carve the skin from your bones, a sensation you attribute to the Edict of Storms, but it cools just as quickly. The winds buffeting the keep have abated. Outside, an eerie silence pervades the air, a stillness that hasn't visited Stalwart for a long time. You can hear the very symbols that brought the Edict of Storms into being, each syllable proclaiming itself from a newfound corner of your mind. It would seem the edict is now a part of you. Thank goodness it worked! You spared my daughter, and here I had come to expect nothing but cruelty from the servants of Kairos. Amelia looks to the crib. Now we have a chance at what might never have been. A life outside of these walls. My father can be severe and uncompromising, but I'll return to Ironhearth and his protection, at least while the conflict persists. Hopefully he isn't so consumed by war that I can't still appeal to him as a man and father. I always appreciated them more than the Archon. I regret none of the decisions I made to get here. We'll disagree on that much. But my daughter will be safe. The stalemate between the Unbroken and the Disfavored is at an end, a victory that can't be measured in rings. Thank you, Fatebinder. I'll remain at Sentinel Stand to secure this location and send word to Ash of your excellent work. You ended Kairos' Edict of Storms. Quest updated. We need to go speak with Graven Ash. Seems a whole bunch of things happened. The crib has been meticulously cleaned, while other objects in the hall have traces of dust and metallic powder on them. None of it is found here.
That wasn't so hard.
And a few gems in there. Let's see, what did we gain? Kills in Shadow. Oh, loyalty, Skyblade. The Fatebinder is launched into the air by Kills in Shadow, then comes crashing down, dealing damage in an area and gaining a bonus to damage for a short time. Very nice. We'll go deal with that soon. But first, Lantry got a level up. Excellent. I guess maybe a few points in might, just to have them. And let's see, Arcane Shield might not be a bad idea. Although, isn't there one here that improves things for the party? Yes. Bonus experience for the lore skill and a bonus spell slot. Yeah, I think I should work on that. Is there anything here I want on this end, though? Not particularly. So we'll go at Lore Master, and then we'll work on Learned Instructor. And we have Rust Charm. 1 armor penetrated by attacks when inflicting crits. That actually sounds very useful. I still want to keep the regenerating. As nice as this is... Ooh, we're actually gaining for that. Hold on, how are we gaining for that? Okay, pretty good stuff. I think we'll equip that and give this to you. I think that works. You've already got that, so I'll hand that to someone else. Okay. Now we need to go back and report in. Sentinel Stand is ours. The Disfavored won't forget this honor. Oh, I'm sure. Let us leave. We must report in. Pretty sure we have enough time for that. The keep is in our hands. Repairs are already underway. Oh, good. The gate is open. Ash will want to hear about what we've accomplished here. I'll hang back and oversee repairs of the defenses. Well, good. Crescent Runner? Huh. Well, thank you. We'll go loot this thing here, and then head out of here. Perfect. Yeah, what the hell. We'll head out the front gate. Just seems the right thing to do. At last, things are quiet here. And at least we did things the proper way. It's the good thing about having a ton of lore. Lets you think of things like this. Subterfuge, too. Now, back to Ironhearth. Oh, a new missive. Ah, on the subject of spires. Salutations, Jason Pendragon. It is difficult to separate fact from superstition when it comes to edicts, as it seems only Kairos knows how it all works. The rest of us are left to live in fear and ponder it all. Kairos' edicts are a sort of magic above and beyond even the Archons. I dare say the edicts are stronger than Kairos, as there's no evidence Kairos can willingly stop an edict once set into motion, which is, in part, why Kairos' edicts seem to have an until or unless clause in their wording. I know the edict, as powerful as it is, requires a human voice to complete the casting. Thus the Overlord has people like you proclaim edicts cast far from the Imperial throne. The magic is Kairos' magic, but the human voice is the final carrier or trigger to complete the magic phenomenon. And here's what's most fascinating, at least as far as you're concerned. There have been dozens of mortal agents who have been made to proclaim edicts. 2/3 of them die within a decade, and many gave reports of lingering mystic scars from the ordeal. And there have also been a handful to resolve or break an edict. Those until or unless clauses get fulfilled from time to time, and we see a similar pattern in history. Those who resolve an edict often live short lives, and many speak of arcane side effects of the shattered edicts. Here's where you're unique. To the best of my fact-finding, you are the first to proclaim and break the same edict. Whatever mystical power is involved in the creation and destruction of such magics, you're the first to stand at the terminus of both. Now that I know that spires can be awoken, it makes sense that if anything can or would wake them from slumber, a shattered edict seems the likely culprit. Kairos has other edicts in place throughout the tiers. If you truly wish to learn more, perhaps you should take it upon yourself to shatter those edicts. After all, if Kairos did not wish for the edicts to be broken, why include a termination clause? Solicit her advice. I appreciate the information. Thank you for sharing. Knowing what you know of my situation, what would you do? Send it. We'll get a response soon enough. Let us go and report in. Oh! We have 2 messages here. Coolio Tonon, Fatebinder Coolio and Fatebinder Rogalus. Let's start with Rogalus. Dear Fatebinder Jason Pendragon, your actions at Sentinel Stand have once again supplied the rumor-mongers of the Bastard City with stories to peddle. Some seem to think that your cunning twist of legalese intended to display some great support for the people of Stalwart. That, of course, only leads to speculation about which people of Stalwart you intended to benefit, the unbridled upstarts or the corrupt old queens. Others foolishly believe you unraveled the Overlord's edict to prove that you could, as if a sliver of cleverness could bring Kairos low. As a scholar, I prefer primary sources to gossip, so allow me to ask you plainly, why did you choose to spare the child? We can say it was the right thing to do. When faced with the choice to save a child or consign it to death, I chose to save it. That does not seem so strange a thing to me. Either decision would have fulfilled the Overlord's will. The last ruling House of Stalwart met its end in the Blade Grave. You need read nothing more into it than that. Or, the blood of Graven Ash, Archon of War, flows through that child's veins. It should take no scholar of history or governance to recognize the potential in protecting it. The Archon appreciates family above all else. Why should I deprive him of a grandchild born of the ruling family of Stalwart if I could do so without shirking my duty to the Overlord? I do not make a habit of discarding gifts of fortune. Or, you will have to look to the rumor mongers for your answers. I keep counsel on this matter only with myself. Oh no, it was the right thing to do. We are not killing a baby for this. In questions of balance, Fatebinder, you have proven your cleverness in the face of an apparently impossible choice. Would I have been so wise in the same situation? I cannot say. I know only that I do not envy your mission. I must urge caution, however. Some who watch your actions may be more alarmed than amused. Will they be able to convince themselves that the Overlord crafted the Edict of Storms with this loophole in mind? Or will they see in your choice an alternative that cannot be set to parchment? I hope you soon make an effort to join us at court in the Bastard City. I often feel that it has been too long since we last whispered of the darker corners of Tyranny. You've experienced so many of them as of late. Perhaps I can provide illumination. Actually, I think it different. I believe the wording said that it had to end, and they probably intended either they all died, or they all resigned and gave up. He left that loophole in case they chose to give up. It just happened to work in our favor, since, well, what else was the option? They had children. They had to do something to deal with the children, and that's a kinder way. Moving on. We must report in to Graven Ash. Need some water first. There we go. Alright. The great keep of Sentinel Stand is ours! Oh, how I will relish tearing down every vestige of the Unbroken and burying the standard of that corrupt realm. This is a great victory for the disfavored. What's more, we are delivered from the Edict of Storms. My runners speak of you in glowing terms, though I instructed them specifically not to report on your deeds in too much detail. I wanted to hear it from no one but the source. I would know more about how it felt to stand in the center of the storm as the Overlord's magic dissolved around you. You must be weary from your travels. I am eager to hear your account, but I will understand if you still need to gather your thoughts. This is a joyous day, and I wouldn't spoil it with impatience. Let's go over my success at Sentinel Stand. The seat of Regents and the tarnished gem of Stalwart. I have anticipated this. So tell me, what do you have to report? The Edict, Stratus Harridan is dead. That is gratifying to hear. The coward spent too long crouched behind the walls of Sentinel Stand and deserved none of Kairos' mercy. The Regent family was an inbred and corrupt line of failed rulers. They had neither the courage nor the grit to lead their realm to prosperity, as they demonstrated. Stalwart is much improved by their absence. The Edict of Storms is ended. Am I gaining fear with kills in shadow? And I have breathed fresh air for the first time since I returned to Iron Hearth. You managed to accomplish what my forces could not. More importantly, you have abated Kairos' anger for the time being. With the great stalemate of the conquest ended, surely we have earned the favor of Tunon and Kairos alike. Every deed you accomplish in the name of the disfavored proves our right to rule these lands. Ash balls a fist and enthusiastically pumps it in the air. How does it feel, Fatebinder? I have not had the distinction of breaking an edict, much less several. I am toying with powers. It felt less like breaking a spell and more like absorbing it. A strange distinction. I would offer you some comforting assurance that this will pass, but that would be an empty promise. Your actions at Vendrian's Well have caused us all to expect more than you were ever prepared to shoulder as a legal clerk. Living up to our admittedly high expectations will do more than merely get you through this war. There are greater things to come once the dust settles. So what are our next steps? Is there nothing else you wish to discuss? Nothing about my daughter? Ash furrows his brow and looks at you with some unspoken emotion. Yes, let's talk about Amelia. You have seen her restored to my keeping. She is safe in Ironhearth, and in spite of myself, I am pleased to have her home. He nods and releases a heavy sigh. The tension in his shoulders lifts, if only for a moment. She has taken to her quarters, and speaks not of what transpired during her long imprisonment. I have instructed her guard to offer space to rest and regain her strength, but so far she keeps to herself. She has not sought her father's counsel, either. He frowns in this, deep in thought. Say what you would, then. She bridged the gap between the north and south by mothering a female heir. What are you saying, Fatebinder? My Amelia is too noble to lay with a southern wretch, much less willingly bear his polluted offspring. No, this is some fabrication. A joke at my expense. I cannot... Ash squeezes his eyes shut and shakes his head vigorously. No, the very idea repulses me beyond all measure. And you, Fatebinder! He bears down on you with madness in his eyes. If you would bring slander and atrocity to this fort, then I will instruct Tunon to strike your head from your lawful neck. Do you hear me? He bellows with such force that spittle wets his beard, and the cohorts of the training yard turn with panic in their eyes. Ash cuts off his speech and holds his rigid posture. Throughout the prolonged silence, you aren't sure if he plans on swinging his mace in a wide arc or simply exploding from the tension he fights to repress. A vein rises along the crest of his scalp and slowly recedes as Ash calms his breathing. Speak no more of these lies. I won't have them poisoning the air of Ironhearth and the ears of my fellow countrymen. You are a fool if you think I believe such an obvious ruse. Ash regards you with uncertainty, his eyes searching for truth or contradiction. She didn't say anything at all about her situation. He holds your gaze with flat, even focus. Ash takes a deep breath through his nose, filling his lungs and swelling his chest until he has expanded significantly in your vision. When he releases the breath, it comes out deflated and resigned. By the Overlord's mercy, was there ever a father more blind than me? The bundle, the healer, the sorrowful looks worn by her attending soldiers? His gaze shifts over to one of the windows of his castle, just in time to catch a silhouette stepping back from view. Kairos' flames, but I should hurl her and that accursed creature from the rampart walls. Our family name, the very North, is degraded by her lechery. Ash grabs at his face and howls into his hands. In time, you could learn to forgive her. No, that is not possible, Fatebinder. When I look into her eyes, I will see only the vileness that she invited into her heart, the deception that her captors inflicted to twist my daughter into the disgrace she has become. The wretched girl is still a member of my legion, but she has broken our bond as surely as if she had killed me. I have lost my daughter, and she must learn to endure a general in her father's place. In spite of my temperament, you have done as I asked. Amelia is returned. The edict is ended. Perhaps I am too quick to blame you for the failings of my once noble house. A haunted expression overtakes the Archon, and the lines running down his face deepen with sorrow. It takes him several moments to blink again and shake himself back to his senses. First things first. My soldiers reported on your activities in the Bladegrave. They saw what happened when you broke the Edict of Storms. The power of this edict flowed through you like the wind. No one could account for it, but I have my suspicions. You are becoming powerful, perhaps in ways I don't even understand. There's a connection between the edicts and what happened at Ascension Hall. I'm still putting the pieces together. I appreciate your honesty and your introspection. Still, you walk a dangerous path. I would not want it to reflect poorly on the Legion. These are tools beyond the ken of people or Archons alike. Take care that you don't overstep your bounds. In Kairos' hierarchy, someone always notices. With that out of the way, let us return to the matter of the war. Our position in the tiers is strengthening by the day, but there is still work to be done. It is time to broaden our scope in this war. There are two regions of interest, and either of them would strengthen our hold on the realm. Lethian's Crossing is home to merchants and the skilled forge-bound artisans. The Burning Library was the home of the all-knowing sages before Kairos reduced it to cinders. I will head to Lethian's Crossing. Since you were kind enough to leave the crossing in the hands of my legion after your stint as governor, I think you should find the settlement most accommodating. The Forge-bound are critical for keeping Kairos' forces armed, and we should work to shield them from the trials of this war. A Forge-bound master is making her way to Lethian's Crossing right now. Her name is Zedenya. It would be best to intercept her first. If we recognize the value of her and her fellow artisans, then others will inevitably arrive at the same conclusion. An elder lives in one of the settlement's meager hovels. Eldian, they call him. He may know more about the region. What is it you require? Farewell. That is all I have to say. Okay, and with that, it is unfortunate that he got so upset about all that, but the information, I suppose, should have been learned. Our new quest? Lethian's Crossing. I think that's a fair choice. We still have to claim the remaining spires. We'll learn more there before we go on, but I think before we actually head there, we should probably complete the side quest and probably also report into Tunon. I think he'll probably want to know about what happened and everything that was going on here. And we need to go check in on the spire that we have and on our companions. So we have some checkups that we need to do first. But that'll be in the next episode, because this one's gone on long enough. Till then, I am Cheswick44. That is Jason Pendragon, Barrack, Kills in Shadow, and Lantry. This has been a Let's Play of Tyranny, and I shall see you all next time.